Learner, you're here because you want to get smart, fast. You want the core insights without, all the fluff. Today we're cracking open Sam Adeyemi's Shifts, that's SHIFTS, an acronym, for 6 steps. Steps designed to fundamentally, rewire your mindset and really amplify your leadership. Forget surface level tips. We're going deep.
Exactly. We're not just skimming. Shifts offers a really structured, actionable approach. And in this deep dive, we're zeroing in on the foundational bits, see and hear the first 2 steps.
Right. So our mission, and we're drawing heavily from Adeyemi's book, Shifts, 6 Steps to Transform Your Mindset and Elevate Your Leadership, is basically to understand the surprising power of intentionally shaping what you see and hear. How does this seemingly simple act profoundly impact your inner game, your ability to lead, and ultimately the trajectory of your whole life? We're after those genuine aha moments, the kind that stick. And to navigate this terrain, we've got our expert here for the critical analysis and the sort of broader perspective.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. How these first steps, see and hear, really act as the fundamental programming for our minds. Mastering this input, that's where genuine transformation really begins.
Okay, so let's get into the genesis of Shifts.
Yeah.
How did it start? The book kicks off with a really relatable story, doesn't it, about a youth event in Lagos. Something about rain.
That's right. The author paints this picture, meticulous planning for this huge event, everything's set. And then moments before it starts, bam, this torrential rainstorm just threatens to wash everything away. Panic sets in, naturally. But the key thing wasn't the setback itself. It was the realization afterwards. When the rain stopped and the event was a success anyway, the author realized that even in chaos, there are principles. Principles for navigating challenges effectively. And these principles could be identified, and maybe more importantly, they could be taught. So the Shifts model really grew out of that process, looking for those fundamental transferable concepts.
Ah, okay. So a practical framework born from like a real-world pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just based on that one event, was it? It's more grounded than that.
Oh, absolutely not. The book really emphasizes its evidence base. So beyond just personal stories, the Shifts model pulls in insights from surveys with CEOs, executives, leaders from all over the world, actually. That research, plus the author's own journey building a significant leadership organization from scratch, that all underpins the framework. The core idea is that leadership today, with everything changing so fast, it demands this constant evolution of mindset. You need agility, foresight, commitment to growth.
Okay, that gives it some real weight. Let's dig into the first shift then.
Okay.
It's obviously more than just opening your eyes, right?
Yeah.
What's the intentionality piece here?
Yeah, exactly. See, in the Shifts context, it's all about the conscious, deliberate selection of the images and visuals we allow into our minds, both conscious and subconscious. The mechanism behind it is that consistent exposure. Seeing the same kinds of things over and over, whether they're aspirations or anxieties, it has a real neurological impact. These repeated visuals get kind of encoded, shaping neural pathways, influencing our belief about what's possible, how we see reality, and that, in turn, drives what we do.
So not passive viewing, but active cultivation.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And the book flags up a specific tool lots of successful leaders use here, the vision board. What's the thinking behind why that works?
Yeah, vision boards. The book notes they're used pretty frequently by high achievers. It's a way to keep goals and ambitions right there, visually prominent. Psychologically, it works on a few levels. First, just making the board forces you to clarify your goals, right? To actually define what you want. Second, seeing those goals constantly helps prime your brain's filtering system, the reticular activating system, or RAS. When your goals are visually front and center, your RAS is, more likely to spot opportunities and resources out there that align with them. It's like subtly directing your focus.
And the book uses this pretty striking phrase, brainwashing yourself to success. Sounds a bit intense, but the explanation kind of reframes it, doesn't it?
It does sound intense, yeah. But the book clarifies it's not about some external manipulation, it's deliberate self-influence. Think of it more like a mental detox. The vision board serves to consciously push out negative or limiting images and replace them with pictures of your desired future. It's about taking control of the visual story playing in your head.
A mental decluttering. I like that. Yeah. Consciously choosing the visuals. And the book links this to reclaiming a sort of childlike ability to dream big. Mm-hmm. Why is that link important?
Well, the argument is that as we get older, society perceived limits, they often squash that natural capacity we have for big imaginative thinking, big goals.
Right.
And then it points to people like Steve Jobs, Amelia Earhart, Kobe Bryant, Sally Ride, figures who kept this powerful sense of vision, of possibility, even when facing huge skepticism or, doing things never done before. The message underneath is that holding on to that childlike ability to really see what could be. That's vital for breaking through barriers and doing extraordinary things.
And the author actually shares their own experience with vision boarding being a catalyst, right? A personal shift.
Yes, exactly. The author talks about how creating and consistently looking at a personal vision board was a real turning point in their own life. It underscores that it's not just theory, it has tangible impact.
Which leads us nicely to that core principle the book really hammers home. Whatever you see and hear consistently over time will enter your heart or subconscious mind and put your life on autopilot. That's, wow, quite a statement on the power of our daily input.
It really is. It highlights that cumulative effect, doesn't it? What we're constantly absorbing. And that takes us straight into the second foundational shift, hear. So what's the intentionality behind curating our auditory input?
Okay, hear. The auditory partner to see. It's about actively, deliberately choosing the ideas, the information we listen to. And the book points straight away to the value of books, all kinds of books.
Absolutely. The book really emphasizes how books, physical, ebooks, audiobooks, even Braille, offer this incredibly cost-effective way to access concentrated wisdom. You get expertise, experiences from leading minds in, well, pretty much any field. It's a unique chance to tap into knowledge that can seriously speed up your growth, personally and professionally.
It's almost like getting direct access to how successful people think, isn't it? The book calls it a deep dive of leadership by engaging with their inner realities through their words.
Spot on. And it encourages you, the listener, to be proactive here, to build your own personalized curriculum for transformation. That means consciously identifying and, maybe making a list of books, good publications, insightful podcasts, valuable videos, things that align with where you want to go. And the key point is accessibility. There's so much amazing stuff online, often free. So budget shouldn't really be a major barrier to learning transformative things.
That's so true. This sheer volume of great free content is almost overwhelming, but it's also incredibly empowering if you're intentional about it. The book shares another story related to hear, doesn't it? About meeting someone in Angola.
Yeah, that's a powerful anecdote. It really shows the life-changing impact of intentionally choosing what you listen to. The author describes meeting this young person in Angola who was basically teaching himself English by immersing himself in the author's videos and other educational stuff too. It wasn't just casual listening, it was focused effort, acquiring a skill, expanding horizons. It just vividly shows how choosing your auditory input can literally open up new paths in life.
Wow, yeah. A really compelling example. And here isn't just about spoken words or educational content, is it? The book also talks about music's influence, which maybe we underestimate.
That's a great point. The book brings in research showing music's powerful ability to stir specific emotions, even influence how we think. Some studies have shown links between certain music types and, say, increased feelings of aggression or anger in some people. So it highlights why we should be mindful of our music choices, especially if we're trying to consciously transform ourselves and cultivate a more positive state.
And there's an exercise link to this, creating a life's playlist. What's the idea there?
Yeah, the idea is that reflecting on the music that's really impacted you, your theme songs almost, can give you insights into your emotional patterns and life themes. And then by consciously curating a playlist that inspires you, motivates you, uplifts you, you can basically create an intentional soundscape that supports your growth.
Interesting. Now, the book makes a connection between these first two steps, see and hear, and actually building competencies.
Yeah.
How do these foundational inputs help build tangible skills?
It's an interesting link. The book uses Webster's definition of competency, which isn't just skills, but includes values, communication style, personal attributes, what it calls an attribute bundle. The connection to see and hear is how consistently taking in visual and auditory information related to the competencies you want. Well, it shapes how you understand and internalize those traits. For example, if you consistently listen to podcasts with great communicators or watch videos showing strong leadership, that subtly influences your own approach over time. You're feeding your mind the ingredients of competence, essentially.
And this ties into aligning our actions with those key leadership competencies. The book mentions team discussions too, fostering a positive environment.
Exactly. By openly talking about desired leadership competencies within a team and encouraging everyone to actively look for visual and audio resources that exemplify them, You build this collective awareness, a shared commitment to developing those competencies. It creates a positive feedback loop. What the team sees and hears reinforces the desired behaviors, contributing to a more cohesive and effective culture.
Makes sense. Now, transformation isn't always smooth sailing. Resistance is common. The book mentions resistance to change and how see and hear play into overcoming that. How do they help?
Right, resistance is a big one. The book points out that even when you logically know change is needed, maybe you can even visualize the better outcome. Old habits, old ways of thinking, they have inertia. Resistance often shows up as self-doubt or just clinging to what's familiar even if it's not working well. But by consistently reinforcing the desired shifts through carefully chosen visual and auditory input, the vision board, the podcasts, the books, you gradually start to chip away at that resistance. The more you immerse yourself in the vision of where you want to be and the more you hear empowering messages, the more those new patterns start to feel normal and the old limiting beliefs lose their grip.
It's like that persistent positive reinforcement rewiring things internally.
Okay.
The book also touches on something really relevant today, excessive screen time and its negative effects, which links directly back to see, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely vital to consider. The book actually references some concerning CDC data about the rise in mental health issues among kids and teens, things like hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, and it connects this to other research linking increased screen time with, well, lower psychological well-being generally, less curiosity, lower self-control, trouble making friends, higher risk of depression.
Those are pretty sobering statistics.
Yeah.
Really highlights the impact of our visual environments, especially the digital ones we spend so much time in.
Precisely. And the book emphasizes that see and hear aren't just isolated steps. They really lay the essential groundwork for the whole shift's transformation process. By consciously managing what we see and hear, we start reshaping our internal landscape. We make it more fertile ground for intentional growth, better leadership, and frankly, just overall well-being.
Okay, so for you, the learner, listening right now, what are some concrete, actionable things you can do to actually start implementing see and hear?
Well, the book offers some really practical exercises. First, maybe take some time for honest reflection. Do the visualize your current mindset exercise. Really look at your typical leadership approach, your usual emotions at work, the beliefs driving your decisions. Then contrast that directly with visualizing your desired shift. What kind of leader do you want to be? What qualities? What impact?
That comparison itself can be powerful, right? Highlighting that gap between now and the goal. What else?
Another really effective technique mentioned is pre-seeing success. So before a big meeting or a difficult conversation or starting a major project, take a few moments, vividly imagine it going well. Mentally rehearse the positive outcome, picture yourself handling it effectively. This mental prep can genuinely boost confidence and make success more likely. And of course, revisit that idea of a personal vision board. Actually take the time to create one. Use images, words that really resonate with your goals, professional and personal. Put it somewhere you'll see it often.
A constant visual reminder, a visual anchor. And on the hear side of things,
Do an audit of your current auditory input. What books are you reading or listening to? Which podcasts? What other audio content? And ask yourself critically, is this stuff helping me grow, or is it maybe reinforcing old limits? Then identify some new high-quality audio resources, podcasts, audiobooks that do align with your goals. Make a conscious effort to weave them into your routine. Also, take that moment to reflect on your life's playlist. Think about the emotional vibe of the music you listen to most. Make intentional choices there too, ones that support a positive growth mindset. And maybe one last thing. Think about the people whose voices you hear most often, your closest associations. Do their perspectives, their values align with the vision you hold for yourself?
really powerful prompts for reflection and, more importantly, action. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into just the first two shifts, see and hear, what are the absolute essential takeaways for the learner?
I think the fundamental insight really is that what you consistently expose your senses to visually and audibly, it has enormous power. It shapes your mindset, and that, in turn, drives your actions and results. So by consciously, intentionally curating your sensory environment, choosing what you see, choosing what you hear, you can actively reinforce your goals, you can start dismantling limiting beliefs, and really propel yourself towards success and fulfillment, both as a leader and just, in life generally.
Okay, and for that final provocative thought to mull over, learner. Considering the absolute flood of visual and auditory information hitting you every single day, what's one small but significant adjustment you could make today in what you choose to see and hear? Just one thing. How could that initial deliberate choice start positive chain reaction, actively shaping the leader, the person you aspire to become? How could it create that self-reinforcing cycle of growth and transformation? Something to think about until our next deep dive.